My girlfriend roasted me at my dad's retirement party on Instagram Live. I thought it was just a joke until I saw the comments. I'm a mechanic. I co-own a garage that specializes in trucks and SUVs with my former boss, who's now my business partner. I own 40% of the shop, and honestly, I'm proud of what we've built. The work is hard, the hours are long, but I love it. I come home tired but satisfied. My girlfriend Amber works as a social media manager for an online fashion brand. She's always been really into the whole Instagram lifestyle thing, which I've never totally understood, but whatever makes her happy, right? Here's the thing though, the way she talks about our jobs has always bothered me a little. When people ask what she does, she says, "I work in digital strategy for a lifestyle brand." Sounds professional. When people ask what I do, she says, "Oh, he works in a shop," or "my little mechanic," with this tone that's half teasing, half, I don't know, condescending. I've mentioned it before, and she always says I'm being too sensitive. My dad just retired after 35 years as a union welder. Blue collar through and through, and honestly, he's my hero. The man worked his entire life to provide for us, taught me everything about work ethic and respect. We threw him a retirement party at the Union Hall last Saturday, about 40 people, family, his old co-workers, neighbors. Nothing fancy, but it meant everything to him. I was so proud to bring Amber. I really wanted her to see this side of my family, to understand where I come from and why I value what I do. I thought she'd respect it. The party was going great. People were sharing stories about my dad, laughing, having a good time. Then the MC, my uncle, decided to open it up for anyone who wanted to say a few words. He looked at Amber and said, "How about the girlfriend? Want to say something nice about your man and his family?" I saw Amber's eyes light up. She grabbed the microphone, and I swear to God, she pulled out her phone and started an Instagram Live. "Hey everyone," she said to her phone. "I'm at my boyfriend's dad's retirement party, and I thought I'd do a little roast to keep things fun." My stomach dropped. She started going in. "So, I do want to say how proud I am of Lucas's dad for retiring," she said with this big smile. "Unlike my boyfriend here, who, let's be real, will probably never retire because mechanics don't actually retire, right? They just keep changing oil until they physically can't anymore." A few awkward laughs from the crowd. "Lucas is basically my little charity project," she continued, her voice dripping with that teasing tone she uses. "My grease monkey who only knows 2 settings, oil change and sorry, will have to order that part." She laughed at her own joke. "But honestly, I love him anyway. Someone has to." The room went quiet, like, really quiet. A few people gave these awkward courtesy laughs, but I could see my mom's face. My sister looked like she wanted to throw her drink. I pulled out my phone and found her live. The comments were rolling in. "LOL, poor guy. Blue collar BF starter pack. She's too good for him, not done a lie. Imagine being roasted at your own dad's party." I wanted to grab the mic and tell her to stop. I wanted to walk out. But it was my dad's night. I wasn't going to make a scene and ruin it for him. So I sat there, forcing a smile that probably looked more like a grimace, while my girlfriend turned me into content for her 8,000 followers. When we got home that night, she was on her phone watching the video back. "Engagement's crazy right now," she said, showing me. She'd posted it to her grid with the caption, "Roasting my mechanic BF at his dad's retirement party." I finally said something. I told her how humiliated I felt, how disrespectful it was to do that in front of my family, how she basically called me a joke to thousands of people. Her response, "You're being dramatic, it's just content. People love couples that can laugh at each other." I said, "We weren't laughing together, you were laughing at me." She rolled her eyes. "Oh my God, are you really this insecure about being a mechanic? I was just having fun." That's when it hit me, like really hit me. I'm not her boyfriend. I'm a prop. I'm content. I'm the blue-collar character in her little Instagram show, and she genuinely doesn't see anything wrong with that. I've been sleeping on the couch for 3 days. She keeps asking when I'm going to get over it. She took the video down from her grid, but only after I asked 4 times, and she acted like I was asking her to delete her entire account. Reddit, I don't think I'm being dramatic, am I? Update 1. Okay, so I promised an update, and here it is. The morning after I posted, I called a moving company. Then I called Amber's older sister, Jen. Jen and I have always gotten along well, and she's always been straight with me. I told her what happened at the party, showed her the video, and explained that I was breaking up with Amber and needed to move her stuff somewhere safe. Jen was quiet for a minute, then said, "Yeah, I saw that video. I was wondering if you were okay with it. I'll help however I can." Here's what people need to understand. The apartment is in my name only. I've been paying the rent. Amber contributes to groceries and utilities, but the lease is mine. I checked with my landlord. Legally, I could ask her to leave with proper notice, but I wanted to handle this without involving eviction procedures or making her homeless. So Friday morning I took a personal day. I went through the apartment and separated everything that was hers. Clothes, shoes, makeup, skincare products, her ring light setup, all of it. I took photos of everything, packed it carefully in boxes and labeled them. The movers showed up at 10 a.m. and took it all to Jen's place, where she'd cleared out her spare room. I left a note on the kitchen table with Jen's address and a simple explanation. This relationship is over. All your belongings have been moved to your sister's address, where you're welcome to stay. I've treated your things with respect. Please do the same and don't contact me unless it's to arrange picking up anything I might have missed. Lucas. Then I went to work. Around 4 p.m. my phone started blowing up. Amber had come home to an empty closet, an empty bathroom cabinet, no ring light, no makeup desk. She called me 7 times in 10 minutes. I answered the 8th call. "What the hell, Lucas? You can't just throw me out. This is my home." "I didn't throw you out," I said, keeping my voice level. "Your stuff is at Jen's. You have a safe place to stay. The lease here is in my name. We're done, Amber." "Over a joke. You're actually doing this over a freaking joke." "It wasn't a joke. It was you showing me exactly how you see me. I'm just believing you now." She started crying. Not sad crying, angry crying. She called me a psycho, said I was emotionally abusive for kicking her out without warning. I reminded her that she'd had plenty of warning when I told her how much she'd hurt me, and she dismissed it. "I was going to apologize," she said. "No, you won't. You were waiting for me to get over it." Then she switched tactics, started with the half apologies. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it hurt you that much. I'll delete everything, okay? Just let me come back. We can work this out." "You already deleted the main post after I begged you to. The damage is done." "Because everyone thought it was funny. You're just insecure about being a mechanic." And there it was. Even in her apology, she still thought the problem was me. "I'm not insecure about my job," I said. "I'm just done being with someone who thinks my life is material for her content. Goodbye, Amber." I hung up and blocked her number. She showed up at the apartment an hour later, pounding on the door. I opened it with the chain still on. "You can't do this," she was yelling. "Half the stuff in this apartment is mine too. You're stealing from me." "I've moved everything that's yours. I have photos of every item. Nothing left is yours. You need to leave before I call the building manager." She stood there breathing hard, mascara running. "Everyone was right about you. You are a loser, and you'll never do better than me." "I already am doing better," I said. "I'm respecting myself. That's pretty good for a mechanic." I closed the door. She stood outside for another 10 minutes before finally leaving. I called my parents that night and told them everything. My dad just said, "You handled that like a man. I'm proud of you, son." my mom said. Good riddance. She showed her ass at my husband's party and now she's surprised there are consequences. My sister texted me, I knew she was trash, took you long enough. I'm not going to lie, it's lonely in the apartment now. We were together for 2 years. But every time I think about forgiving her, I remember sitting at my dad's retirement party watching her turn me into a punchline for internet strangers. Some of you said I should have confronted her publicly at the party. Honestly, I thought about it. But that would have made it about me and her instead of about my dad. He spent 35 years working his ass off to give us a good life. I wasn't going to let her drama ruin his night. This was better, cleaner. She got to be the star of her video and I got my dignity back. We'll update if anything else happens, but hopefully this is it. Edit. People are asking about the key. She had a key, which is why she could get in. I'm getting the locks changed this week. Should have done it already, I know. Update 2. I really hoped my last update would be the end of this, but Amber is apparently committed to making this as messy as possible. Buckle up, because the last few weeks have been absolutely insane. So about 4 days after I moved her stuff out, I got a call from my dad. He sounded tired. Your girl came by the house, he said. I felt my blood pressure spike. What, when? About an hour ago. Your mom and I were having coffee and she just showed up. No text, no call, just knocked on the door. Apparently, Amber had decided to go to my parents to explain her side and convince them that I was the problem. According to my dad, she stood in their living room and went on this whole speech about how I was overreacting to what was just a loving roast, and that everyone at the party was laughing with me, not at me, which is a blatant lie because I was literally there. She told them I have issues with sensitivity and might need professional help, and that she was worried about my mental state and thought they should know. My dad, bless him, let her finish. Then he asked her one question. If Lucas had live-streamed you, put you on blast for thousands of people to laugh at, and then told you that you were being too sensitive when you got upset, how would you feel? Amber said, and my dad swears this is verbatim, that's different, he's a man. Men should be able to handle jokes. My mom apparently stood up at that point and said, you humiliated my son in our house, and now you're here telling us he's the problem. I think you should leave. When Amber didn't move, my dad walked to the door and opened it. Leave now, or I'm calling the police, and please don't come back uninvited. She left, but not before saying she couldn't believe they were taking my side without even hearing her out. My mom called me right after to make sure I was okay. That girl has some nerve, she said, coming here to talk about you like that. I hope you're done with her for good. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days later, I was closing up the shop around 7 p.m. when I got a text from my buddy Luke, who follows Amber on Instagram. He sent me a screenshot. Amber had posted a story, a blurred photo of what was obviously me at my dad's party, with text overlay that said, when you realize he was always too broke for you anyway. #don't date downward, know your worth. Another story was a selfie with the caption, getting out of toxic situations and thriving. Look, wrote, dude, she's posting about you. You might want to check it out. I was annoyed, but whatever. She could post what she wanted. I'd moved on. But then something else happened that I didn't expect. Amber works, or worked, I should say, for a mid-sized online fashion brand as their social media manager. Part of her job was running their Instagram and TikTok accounts. Apparently, after our breakup, she decided it would be a great idea to use the company accounts to post inspirational content that was very obviously about me. One TikTok was her in the office, text on screen, POV, you finally left the man who thought you'd settle for his garage paycheck. Another was a carousel post on the company Instagram with quotes about not letting small-minded men dim your light. The problem: multiple people recognized the situation from her personal posts, and someone, I don't know who, reported it to the company's HR department. This is where it gets wild. Amber's boss called her in and asked her to explain why she was using company social media accounts to post personal content that could be considered harassment toward an ex. Amber, instead of apologizing, apparently doubled down, told them she was raising awareness about toxic relationships, and it was relevant to their audience of women. They suspended her, pending a full investigation. And who did she blame? Me. She called me from a number I didn't recognize, so I answered before I realized it was her. "Are you happy now?" she screamed. "I just got suspended from my job because you made such a big deal out of nothing." "I didn't do anything to your job," I said. "I don't even follow your company's accounts. You did this to yourself. I'm going to lose everything because of you." "You're losing things because of your choices. You chose to roast me on live stream. You chose to dismiss how I felt. You chose to use your company's accounts to talk shit about me. Those are your choices." "Screw you, Lucas. You've always been jealous that I make more money than you." That stung, not going to lie. Mostly because it wasn't even true. We make about the same, and I've never cared about that. "Goodbye, Amber, don't call me again." I blocked the new number. The next day, she started posting on her personal Instagram photos of herself outside what looked like a courthouse or police station, with captions like, "Standing up to emotional and financial abuse," and "Don't let toxic men gaslight you into thinking you're the problem." Some of her followers were eating it up, others, not so much. I had 3 people I barely know send me screenshots of comments calling her out. "Girl, we saw the original video. You roasted him. Isn't this the same guy you called broke on your story, and now he's abusive? Make it make sense. Creating a villain arc for your ex isn't cute." My sister has been monitoring it more than I have. She says Amber's losing followers daily. Meanwhile, I've been documenting everything. Screenshots of every post she's made about me, the stories, the call logs showing her using different numbers to contact me. My buddy who's a lawyer said if she keeps this up, I might need to consider a restraining order. I don't want to do that, I really don't. I just want her to move on. But I also won't let her rewrite history. I'm not the bad guy here. I'm just a guy who got tired of being treated like a joke. Edit, people are asking if she actually got fired. Last I heard, she's still suspended, but I don't know the outcome. I'm not in contact with anyone at her company. Final update. I really, truly thought update 2 would be the last time I'd have to talk about this situation. I was wrong, but this is it. This is the final chapter, and honestly, I'm at peace with how it all ended. After my last update, Amber went quiet for about a week. No posts about me, no calls, nothing. I thought maybe she'd finally moved on. Then the text started. She'd created a new number, I'm guessing a Google Voice or something, and sent me these long, rambling messages. Stuff like, "You've ruined my life, and you don't even care. Your parents turned you against me because they never thought I was good enough. I'm staying with my sister because you made me homeless." That last one made me laugh. She wasn't homeless. She was staying in a 2-bedroom apartment with her sister who has a guest room, but Amber has always been dramatic. I didn't respond to any of them, just took screenshots and added them to my folder. Then she posted an Instagram story that was clearly meant to get my attention. A selfie outside a police station with the caption, "Sometimes you have to fight for yourself when everyone else is against you." The implication was obvious. She wanted me to think she was filing some kind of report against me. I called my buddy who's a lawyer, told him what was happening. He said, "She's bluffing. She has no case. But keep documenting everything just in case." A few days later she called me again. Different number. I was getting tired of blocking her, so this time I answered and recorded it. One-party consent state, I checked. "Lucas," she said, and her voice was different, softer, like she was trying to sound vulnerable. I know I've made mistakes, okay, but you're destroying everything we had over nothing. I loved you. I still love you. Amber, I said, keeping my voice calm, I've been very clear, we're done. You need to stop contacting me. But we can fix this. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever you want, just please. I don't want you to do anything. I want you to leave me alone. You can't just throw away 2 years. I didn't throw it away. You did, when you decided I was worth less than engagement on your Instagram. She was quiet for a second. Then, you're going to regret this. When you're alone in that shitty apartment working your shitty job, you're going to realize what you lost. Maybe, I said, but I doubt it. I was about to hang up when she said something that actually surprised me. I have screenshots of things you said, private things. I could post them. I could show people who you really are. I felt a chill. She was threatening me, actually threatening me. Amber, I said slowly, you're not the only one who have screenshots here. I've been documenting every interaction we've had since I broke up with you. Every text, every call, every Instagram post. I have the original live stream video where you humiliated me. I have screenshots of you using your company's accounts to harass me, which got you suspended. I have records of you showing up at my parents' house uninvited. I have proof of you accessing my apartment after I asked you to leave. Silence. If you post anything about me, anything, I will take all of that to a lawyer and file for a restraining order. And based on what I have, I'm pretty confident I'll get it. Do you understand? You wouldn't. Try me, I said. I gave you multiple chances to walk away with dignity. You chose to escalate every single time. I'm done. If you contact me again, if you post about me again, if you show up anywhere I am, I'm filing that restraining order. This is your final warning. I hung up. She didn't call back. 2 weeks later, I heard from Jen, Amber's sister. She sent me a text apologizing for reaching out, but she wanted me to know that Amber had moved out of her place and was staying with a friend in another city. She said Amber had been let go from her job, and she was trying to start fresh somewhere else. Jen also said, for what it's worth, I saw how she treated you. I told her she was wrong, but she wouldn't listen. You deserved better. I thanked her and told her I appreciated her letting me know. A few days ago, I checked Amber's Instagram out of curiosity. She deleted all the posts about me. Her bio now says new city, new energy, and her recent posts are all generic aesthetic content. No mention of me, no mention of relationships, nothing. I think she finally got the message. As for me, I'm good, really good actually. Work is great, business has been picking up. My dad comes by sometimes to help out, even in retirement because he can't sit still. We work on cars together and talk about life. Those are my favorite days. And you want to know what's ironic? Amber spent 2 years making fun of my grease monkey job, calling me her charity project, implying I'd never amount to anything because I work with my hands. She had this fancy title, digital strategist for a lifestyle brand, and made sure everyone knew she was the successful one in our relationship. Now, I still co-own a thriving business. I'm hiring people. I'm expanding. Meanwhile, she got fired from that fancy job for using company resources to harass her ex-boyfriend. She's starting over in a new city, probably having to explain in job interviews why she left her last position. I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying it because there's a lesson here. Respect isn't about job titles or Instagram followers. It's about integrity. And when you treat people like they're beneath you, eventually that attitude catches up with you. My family has been incredible through all of this. My mom keeps inviting me to dinner because she thinks I'm not eating enough. I am. My sister found the whole thing hilarious and has been sending me memes about dodging bullets. And I've been doing some thinking about what I want in a relationship. I realized that I spent 2 years with someone who fundamentally didn't respect what I do or who I am. She saw me as a fixer-upper project, a character in her story, content for her brand. She never saw me as an equal partner. I won't make that mistake again. Someone at the gym asked me out last week, a woman who works at the parts supplier we use. She's seen me covered in grease, knows exactly what I do, and apparently thinks it's attractive. We're getting coffee this weekend. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but it's nice to talk to someone who doesn't see my job as a character flaw. Reddit, I want to thank all of you for the support on these posts. Reading your comments made me feel less alone. Some of you called exactly how Amber would react, and you were right every time. I'm closing this chapter and moving forward. The apartment feels like mine again. Work is satisfying. My family is solid. And I'm learning what it feels like to be genuinely respected by someone I'm interested in. Life's pretty good for this grease monkey. Thanks for everything, Reddit. I hope my story helps someone else recognize their worth and walk away from someone who doesn't appreciate them. Take care of yourselves out there.